Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'd like to show you how I made this suet log feeder for the birds just out of some scrap wood. So I recently bought these suet logs from the shop and I needed something to put them in. So I've got this old piece of about 6cm by 6cm post and a piece of pallet wood for the roof. So starting off with the roof, I used my speed square just to mark up some sections of this piece of pallet wood to cut, and the roof is going to be about 16cm long. It doesn't really matter how long it is, it just depends on the design you want. And for the main body of the feeder, it's going to be around 36cm long. Then I cut all the pieces out on the miter saw. Once I'd cut the first piece of roof section out, I used that as a template and then marked up the thickness to add one thickness to one length, and that will give the illusion later on that both sides of the roof are equal. You can see there it looks like they're both equal. So now onto the main body. These also needed to be cut down on the miter saw. Now I wanted to make a centre line going down the middle of this old post. And this will help me to mark out the positions later on for the holes. So for the roof section, I'm just going to give it a kind of 45-degree slope either end, and I'm just using the speed square to help me to make those marks. I'll continue to draw a centre line down each side of the post. So to cut this angle for the roof, I set up the miter saw to 45 degrees and made the cuts. So now I wanted to work out the spacing for these suet logs. I spaced them about 5 or 6cm intervals from each other because I thought that looked about right. I could then go ahead and mark up to give me a centre point to drill. There's going to be 6 holes in total, so 3 of the holes are going to go through the front of the feeder and then the other 3 are going to go through the side, and they're going to alternate. So to assemble the roof, I'm just marking up for 2 screws here and then quickly drilling some pilot holes. I could then add some glue. I then used a clamp just to help to squeeze everything together. And add the screws. Then I just gave it a quick sanding down, just to remove any sharp edges and splinters. I then decided to give it a coat of grey emulsion. This isn't necessary, but I thought it would look nice, and all the paint I used was water based. Now I measured up the diameter of these logs, and they're around 32mm, so I wanted to get quite a snug fit, so I went with a 32mm Forstner bit to drill the holes, and I did this with my drill press. This just helps to keep everything straight when you're drilling. Now I wanted to go round all the edges with a round over bit in my router. This again isn't necessary, but it just makes the feeder look a little bit more finished. And I rounded over the edges of all the holes, again to prevent splintering. And then just gave it all a sanding down. And I sanded inside the holes as well. So when that was done, I decided to give it a coat of brown fence stain. Again, not necessary, but I think it will look a bit nicer. Then it was time to glue the roof on, and I added plenty of glue and then secured the roof with a nail on either side. Then I just touched up the heads of the nails with a bit more paint to cover them. Now I wanted to add a ring to the top to allow me to hang the feeder, so I drilled a quick pilot hole. And then just screwed in the ring. Then I wanted to add a carabiner clip. I've got a few of these lying around, but you could use a piece of string or wire. And this will help to connect it later on. So now I'm adding the suet logs. And I'm adding a hanging basket bracket to display the feeder. So hopefully this will attract plenty of birds, fingers crossed. So that's about it for this video. I think it turned out nice in the end, very functional, and hopefully it will attract many birds into my garden. Why not give it a go yourself? It's just made out of some scrap materials. So if you found this video useful, please remember to like and also consider subscribing for more DIY related videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.